The night we returned to the house, it felt like the world was holding its breath. Professor Albright, and I moved under the cloak of a moonless sky, the kind of inky black that swallows sound. A biting, unnatural cold clung to the air, seeping through my coat and chilling me to the bone. The house stood before us, a hulking silhouette against the darkness, every window a vacant eye. There was no light, no sound, just an oppressive silence that promised nothing good waited within its walls. We crept towards the back door, the key feeling like ice in my trembling hand. Inside, the darkness was absolute, a physical presence that pushed in from all sides. Our flashlight beams cut sharp, nervous paths through the gloom, dancing over familiar furniture that now looked monstrous in the shadows. We made our way to the living room, our feet whispering across the floor. Every creak of the old floorboards was a thunderclap, a gunshot that echoed in the suffocating quiet. I watched Albright as he began to lay a thin, perfect circle of salt, his movements precise despite the tremor in his hands. He then reached into his bag for the iron filings, his knuckles white as he clutched the small pouch. The air grew thick, heavy with anticipation. Suddenly, a floorboard groaned from the landing above. The sound was sharp, deliberate. My heart hammered against my ribs. We doused our lights instantly, plunging the room back into total blackness. A shadow, darker than the surrounding dark, detached itself from the top of the staircase. It was a fluid, silent descent, a nightmare unfolding in slow motion. I scrambled behind the worn armchair, Albright ducking behind the sofa. I held my breath, the air burning in my lungs as the figure of my possessed brother, Liam, glided into the room. He passed just feet from my hiding spot, his head swiveling at an impossible, sickening angle, his unseen eyes scanning the space where we had just stood. The shape drifted into the adjoining kitchen, a faint rhythmic scraping sound following it. This was our chance. My hand, slick with sweat, fumbled in my pocket for the bait. I pulled out a faded photograph, its edges softened by time. A picture of Liam and me on a beach, grinning, our arms slung around each other's shoulders. The memory felt like a lifetime ago. Taking a ragged, shaky breath that was more a gasp than anything else, I called out into the darkness, my voice a strained whisper. "Liam, it's me. Do you remember this?" There was a sudden chilling silence from the kitchen, followed by the sharp whip-crack sound of a head snapping around. Heavy, deliberate footsteps began to stalk back towards the living room. The possessed Liam emerged from the doorway, his eyes gleaming faintly in the ambient dark, locked onto me. He moved with a predatory grace, a hunter zeroing in on its prey. He crossed the threshold into the living room and stepped directly into the center of the unseen salt circle. In that instant, Albright lunged from behind the sofa, a stream of salt pouring from his hand to complete the ring. The trap was sprung. A guttural snarl ripped from Liam's throat as Albright began chanting, the ancient Latin words filling the room with a power I could feel in my teeth. The entity trapped within my brother threw its head back and screamed. It was a sound not of this world, a high-pitched, inhuman shriek that vibrated through the floor and shattered the glass in the windows. The bare bulbs in the ceiling fixtures flickered to life, sputtering and flashing violently. A laugh, cold and layered with a chorus of whispering voices, echoed around us. "You think this can hold me?" It hissed through Liam's lips. The white line of salt began to sizzle and blacken, thick smoke curling upwards as the entity's malevolent power surged against its prison.